This is CBC Here and Now.
I would say I have a 35% increase daily. Our regular customers have been purchasing more because they're sitting at home doing nothing.
Sales are high for cannabis stores during the pandemic.
It seems to me that they are creating the rules as they go.
Voting controversy with the Liberal leadership. Some people who signed up are now being told they can't vote.
Some much-needed rain is on the way.
Welcome to Here and Now. I'm Peter Cowan. Police confirmed today what most of us already knew. James Cody was the victim of a homicide on Craig Miller Avenue Sunday morning. There are suspects, but no arrests. And as Here and Now's Ariana Kelland reports, there are very few other details.
Shortly after 4 o'clock a.m., RNC Operational Patrol Services responded to a report of shots fired in the area of Craig Miller Avenue in St. John's.
Lead investigator Superintendent Tom Warren says officers were there in minutes, secured the scene, then found the body of 47-year-old James Cody of Paradise and his red Jeep on the street.
The investigative team are actively investigating the homicide and have at this time identified suspects. To date, no arrests have been made.
How many suspects? Well, Warren wouldn't say. Have they been questioned? No answer to that either. And the weapon? No comment.
I'm confident in my investigative team. I'm confident in the action that's been taken so far. I'm confident that we are utilizing every investigative procedure and technique that's available to us. This is still a very active and fluid investigation, and I don't want to say anything or disclose anything that may interfere with the integrity of the investigation at this time.
Warren stressed this wasn't a random shooting. Cody knew his killer.
It's always concerning with any gun violence, but in terms of the residents, I can assure them, the residents of Craig Miller Avenue, on this particular morning, we had several marked police units from Operational Patrol Services on scene within minutes.
Residents were told to stay inside their homes for about 12 hours, but weren't told why. Warren says it wasn't because there was an active shooter, but to preserve evidence. They considered sending an emergency alert, but didn't. Police are looking for information on suspect vehicles, video footage from the area, and to speak with anyone who talked with Cody in the lead up to his death. Despite there being no arrests, Warren says there's no threat to the public. Ariana Kelland, CBC News, St. John's.
A teenage boy is dead after a collision between a dirt bike and a pickup truck yesterday along a woods road in Burgoyne's Cove. Both vehicles were traveling towards each other and collided on a turn on a hill on that dirt road. The 14-year-old driver of the dirt bike was wearing safety equipment, including a helmet, but police say he was riding in the truck's lane. Both vehicles tried to avoid the collision, but police say there was no time for either to react. Well, the pandemic has created some challenges for those who deal in and purchase illegal drugs. But as Terry Roberts reports, it's meant an increase in business for those in the legal cannabis trade.
This is Thomas Clark's favorite pastime. Been this way since he was in junior high. But this business owner has less time for a draw since the pandemic hit. That's because he's too busy selling cannabis products from his store in Portugal Cove.
Business is booming. I would say I have a 35% increase daily. So, my business is doing far better than it was before.
It hasn't been easy since Clark opened his business 18 months ago, and he became the first licensed retailer in Canada to sell legalized cannabis. But when the world all but came to a halt in March, Clark's world also changed.
Our regular customers have been purchasing more because they're sitting at home doing nothing, so they're smoking more cannabis.
And while many of the 26 cannabis retail stores in the province were closed during the lockdown, Clark kept his doors open.
I got a lot of customers who came from the closed Tweed stores and the grocery stores who are now my regular customers who are coming back again and again.
While Clark is racking up the sales, the pandemic has sent shockwaves throughout the black market, especially for those dealing in more powerful, illegal drugs. And that's just fine with law enforcement.
A gram of cocaine on the street. The prices almost doubled during COVID.
Cocaine is now hard to find. What's around is said to be of lower quality, and the price has soared.
If a person is a regular drug user, they can expect to, if they were paying $80 before for a gram, they could expect to pay $160.
Oh yeah? Well, Clark has heard of a gram of coke selling for $500, and he's heard some dealers have left the illegal drug business completely.
A lot of the people who came since COVID started actually came either from the black market because their supply dried up.
So what's going on? The flow of illegal drugs into the province from places like Quebec and Ontario has been slowed by tight restrictions on travel. And the fact Newfoundland is an island has only intensified the supply pinch. As well, more and more drugs coming in through the mail are being scooped up. 500,000 in illegal cannabis, for example, has been confiscated since April.
We're hoping that's making an increase people more towards the legal market. So we have seen some of that happening right now.
He might be right. Compared to the same time last year, legal cannabis sales in the province have jumped by 14%. Online sales through Shop Cannabis NL have soared by nearly 250%.
Now we have edibles, we're getting topicals, we got concentrates, and we got some beverages hit the market. So we're really just trying to figure out what that means, what the pandemic meant in sales versus what the sales trends are going to be now that we've launched 2.0 products.
Whatever the reason, Thomas Clark is not complaining. He doesn't like to benefit during a crisis.
But it's also nice to know that I have a depression-proof business. You know, probably the worse times get, the more people are going to smoke cannabis.
So for this weed guy, break time is over, and it's back to business. Terry Roberts, CBC News, Portugal Cove, St. Phillips.
Well, from pot to booze, the Newfoundland and Labrador Liquor Corporation will now be enforcing COVID-19 regulations on George Street this weekend. Many people complained after these videos and pictures showed large crowds at bars on George Street. Service NL is investigating 4 official complaints. Health officials say NLC typically enforces liquor regulations, so it's in the best department to ensure they're also following the reopening rules. Health Minister John Haggie says the possibility of them losing their liquor license will focus their attention.
The Newfoundland and Labrador Liquor Corporation felt that they would like to step up and deal with this, and that's the route that we felt across government would work with that industry. It's industry specific. NLC inspectors know that business, and at the end of the day, they have a very collaborative relationship, I'm told, with license holders. And I think the threat, the possibility of losing one's ability to make a living is something that will really focus people's attention.
No, obviously, I was quite disappointed with what happened down on George Street this weekend. I feel that we've been very clear. We provided clear guidance to bar owners, and we were very clear with people all along what we expected of them. But we've had some productive meetings with the George Street Association. I think we've come to an understanding of the expectations, and I believe that they are as interested and as eager to make this work as we are.
Well, a sign of more loosening restrictions. Starting next week, more people are going to be able to visit loved ones in long-term care homes and hospitals. The province is easing the restrictions to allow residents to have up to 6 designated visitors.
A resident there would designate a list of 6 individuals who would form that kind of panel of visitors. The actual mechanics in terms of visiting time and the location within the home, whether it's a meeting room or visiting room or whether it's at the bedside, that would be facility and patient specific. But 6 is the number, and that will also apply to inpatients in acute care.
To politics now, the Liberal Party has rejected over 1,000 people who signed up to vote in the party's leadership race. In just under a month, the party will choose either John Abbott or Andrew Furey to lead the party. The party says more than 33,000 people were deemed eligible. People were disqualified if they didn't support the aims of the Liberal Party or if they said they planned to support a different party in the upcoming election. But some people who were rejected are still scratching their head about why. So, Robin LeGros, why do you think you were disqualified from voting in the Liberal leadership race?
I can only go by the information that I have been given so far, some of which has come directly to me from the party to notify me that I have been disqualified based on my. They disagreed that I followed the aims and objectives of the Liberal Party. However, I did receive from an anonymous source, along with many other documents in the last 2 weeks, that the complaint had actually come from the Fury campaign on the day that I had made a Facebook post that was critical of the lack of policy from Dr. Fury, as well as my concern about the growing number of vulnerable people we have in our population, and my concerns about his approach to remedy that. And so, go ahead.
One of the things in that post, though, was you said that anyone can sign up, even if you cross your fingers when you check that box saying, I support the aims of the Liberal Party.
Right.
And that's what the complaint was about from Fury's campaign, and I guess we don't know, but that may have been also what the Liberal Party said. Hold on, if she was crossing her fingers and she doesn't actually support the aims, then why should we let her vote in our leadership race?
Right. So I'm not normally, as someone who works in an area where in my day job, I can't be political. I try to keep my personal political opinions to myself at the same time. And so I guess that post was trying to notify people what I had seen on the ground from my volunteer and work experience, as well as encourage them to take part in what I felt, from my understanding of the Liberal Party's constitution, was an opportunity to take part in a historic event. I did not tell people to cross their fingers. I believe my exact words were, you can do it with your fingers crossed as far as I'm concerned.
What do you think about the fact that the Liberal Party is going through, they've done robocalls asking people to make sure that they did in fact sign up, and they say they want to make sure that it is in fact real people that are signing up who don't have any nefarious aims with the party?
Well, so I think that's a valid reason to be reaching out to the people who have registered. My concern is that the communications all along haven't been consistent. And it seems to me that they are creating the rules as they go, making decisions, and then responding to them based on feedback from people who are on the other end of those decisions. So it seems all along that there hasn't been a clear plan as to how they were planning to approach this entire election from the start. I don't think they expected the amount of attention that it ended up getting in the long run. And so I think, in my understanding and my feeling, there's been a fair bit of backpedaling in terms of the fact that this is not going how they had intended it to go in the beginning. If they don't want people who aren't going to vote for them down the road to be a part of this, how do they expect to bring in other people outside of the Liberal Party to vote for them in the provincial election in a year when they do go to the polls? It's pretty unfair to say, oh, it's okay, we don't want your vote now, but we'll take it a year from now.
You do have the opportunity to appeal here, so do you plan to do that?
Oh, I've already notified them that I will be appealing this decision.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your concerns with me today.
Thank you, Peter.
So what's the party saying? Well, late this afternoon, the past president held a conference call with reporters to defend the process, saying the party has restrictions on who is eligible to vote, and those restrictions have to be followed.
But everybody has to understand that this is a party process. This is an internal party election. And there are requirements and eligibility criteria clearly outlined in our Constitution, bylaws, and rules. I make no apologies to anybody for following the rules and applying them fairly for all candidates and all individuals in the province.
In other news now that Frounce is back in the province, the government is asking bird watchers to take down any feeders they have. Frounce is a deadly parasite for songbirds, so it turns out birds need their own version of physical distancing this year. It's a bit of a sad news for one avid birder. Randy Jenkins of Twillingate has a very special relationship with some birds, which stems back to a traumatic incident decades ago. He told his story to Here Now's Garrett Barry.
it's a passion now. It's a life-saving passion for me. I came down here with virtually nothing, and all this is built to this. So the birds have become a saving grace. Since I was a young child in Ontario, I've had bird feeders up, so it's something I've always been used to. And I've listened and paid attention and watched and paid attention to what they call, when they call, why they call. I'll warble with them, and they'll be up in the spruce answering me. It's a communication thing. And I don't know what they're saying, and I don't know what I'm saying to them, but it is a communication thing, and the notes are right. That's the key, the notes are right.
I wish everybody could have a friend like you.
I've created quite a following. It's become so important during this COVID thing because I have a lot of experience at PTSD and mental anguish and trauma and everything. And I am very well aware of how it's affecting people.
It happened late yesterday afternoon. 2 masked men burst into this hunting goods store, Gagnon Sports. They were armed.
I wasn't working that day, it was my day off. It was just a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I walked into the store and the 2 crooks come in right behind me. I was shot immediately, within seconds. And I went down to my knees, and from there he shot another customer, and then he turned the gun on my boss and killed him, and then he shot another customer.
Durham Regional Police say 43-year-old Ronald James Woodcock and 32-year-old Roshan Nurozali are responsible for a crime that's haunted Oshawa for the last 13 months.
September 98, the trial started, and then through retrials and mistrials, and it was finally over in 2006. So 12 years of my life was preoccupied with that. And as I say, when I come, it turned me into a mess. I'm still a mess over it. Don't choke. I can break down at 5:30 at night just about any time, to this day. And meals, supper even. I've been at a big supper and actually busted out crying at the table. And it's so embarrassing. This is what I mean. So now you understand the rebuild. Like, you know, when you get a grasp of what really happened, you understand that how important they are to me, and what it makes me feel like and everything. I've seen just about the worst that man has to offer. I wanted to get Randy back, and I did. And this is how I did it. And again, I'll give full commendation to Newfoundland and Labrador Birdwatching Group. It's helped me so much. I'll just put my hand out to the side here. We may get lucky. Well, mostly pine grosbeaks, white-throated sparrows, fox sparrows. Oh my goodness. What I have in my hand right now is the one I call Mom.
And there's another one just decided to make an appearance on my microphone.
This is the one that's been here for 5 years. She returns every spring because they know I love them. And I've had 2 in this hand, 2 in this hand, 1 on my hat, all around my feet like chickens. When in fact that bird is sitting there in my hand and I'm giving back the single notes to it and it's repeating. That bird to me is so comfortable that it's actually treating me as I'm part of the flock. Incredible. Like, you've made it. That's what it was to me. Got him.
Families are coming down with their children. We definitely have had an increase in traffic.
Making the most of the popular pedestrian mall in downtown St. John's, 2 businesses team up for a fashion show.
It's warm in the greenhouse today, but it was warm in other parts of the province too, even broke a few records. I'll have those details coming up.
At first I started doing some, I was calling pandemic performances on my own, so I was going out and people would hire me to do a show on their, in the front of their driveway for the house, things like that, or for the neighborhood. And then I was like, we can scale this up, we can do something.
You ever performed in front of an audience of cars?
No, I cannot say that I have done that. So it'll be a bit weird because you won't get the same energy. It'll be a new experience for us. It'll feel like performing itself will feel different, as well as the audience.
This weather update is brought to you by Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. This year, it's Stay Home Year, the year to rediscover home.
Welcome back to Here and Now, and at least in the east today, we got a bit of sunshine for a change, and looks like it's nice and sunny in your greenhouse there, Ashley.
Yeah, everybody's been asking me for a little bit of a greenhouse update, so I thought I'd share it with you. It's finally ready today. Put in some shelving. Here it is. How beautiful. It is. It's warm here in the greenhouse, but even outside, it's quite beautiful. This afternoon, we saw temperatures reaching the teens. A little cooler if you were in the shade anywhere, but plenty of sunshine. Let's take a look at those numbers across the province. Quite warm pretty much everywhere. We're seeing temperatures high near 16 degrees in St. John's, and as you head towards even Terra Nova, 25 degrees, same in Gander, 26 in Corner Brook, and St. Anthony actually broke a record earlier this afternoon. 23 degrees is your afternoon high. So far, 21 in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and a number of areas seeing temperatures in the 20s. Hopedale, Lab City, and Churchill Falls, you're all looking at 20-degree temperatures. Temperatures have still sitting at 16 degrees here in St. John's, 25 in Corner Brook. And as we head through the night tonight, we are going to see some cloud cover move in. Some of that higher cloud cover moved in earlier today along the west, but you'll see the bulk of that cloud cover will move in as we head through the overnight. Even some showers will move in with that as well. We do have some lightning on the go in Lab West heading towards Central. That risk will continue as we head through the overnight tonight. We're looking at even towards northern coastal areas. You could hear a few rumbles of thunder as well. Eventually those showers will move in by after midnight into the early morning hours, spread along the south coast, and then head towards Central as well through the day. But overall temperatures should stay in the double digits, about anywhere from 10 to 11 degrees. A little bit cooler for the Avalon. About 7 degrees will be the overnight low for St. John's. Winds will pick up out of the south, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour in the west, and then even up through coastal areas of Labrador, you'll see winds anywhere from 30 to as much as 50 kilometers per hour, with that chance of showers continuing overnight. Eventually those showers will continue to spread across through Central, some periods of rain along the south coast, and then some increasing cloud for the east. The first half of the day is actually going to be fairly nice, and then we'll see some clouds move in, some showers and rain for the Burin Peninsula, and then can't rule out a chance of a few showers for the east either, but the bulk of that rain will move towards Bonavista Peninsula, potentially overnight, at least around the Clarenville area overnight into Friday morning. So temperatures tomorrow will be warmer in the east, so 19 degrees for St. John's, but dipping everywhere else. So anywhere from 15 to 17 degrees will be the afternoon high. A little cooler for both coasts, and about 13 degrees for Port aux Basques with that rain. It will taper to showers, though, for most of you in west and central. For the Big Land, the risk of thunderstorms yet again for the west. It looks like a mix of sun and cloud for most of you, with that potential for thunderstorms in the afternoon. Southeastern areas, you're looking at mainly cloudy with some drizzle or showers through the day, but temperatures back into the mid-20s, so a lovely afternoon. For Friday, we're going to see some showers in the morning and then staying generally cloudy. Might see some clearing, but we do have some showers on the go up through Labrador. And then most of Saturday actually looks fairly nice. Some increasing cloud through the day, and then we're looking at the potential for some showers from the northern peninsula along the strait and in southeastern Labrador. Temperatures will recover for you in the west on Friday, 22, 23 degrees, and then staying in those double digits or teen temperatures for the east. About 16 degrees will be the evening or afternoon high rather for St. John's. Another 30-degree day possible for Happy Valley, Goose Bay with plenty of sunshine, but I'm keeping the chance of showers in for you for Lab City and 26 degrees. Once we get past Saturday, even into Sunday and Monday, looks like we're going to continue to hang on to those temperatures in the 20s, with those temperatures returning to the teens overnight. Plenty of sunshine, and then the potential for some showers both Sunday and Monday. For central Newfoundland, again, temperatures in the 20s, mid-20s by the beginning of next week. Same thing for western Newfoundland. However, it does look a little bit gray with the potential for some showers. For eastern Labrador, Saturday looking at 27 degrees again, dipping as we head into Monday with the return of some of those showers. And then same thing for western Labrador, sitting around 17 degrees for Monday. Had to share this great shot of the sunset in Norris Arm North. Thank you so much to Michael for sending that photo in. If you have any weather photos to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Beautiful shot. Thanks, Ashley. Restaurant and bar owners have been spilling onto Water Street to take advantage of the downtown pedestrian mall. Meanwhile, two shops have come up with their own idea. Next Clothing Company teamed up with Isla and Sam's Shoes today to showcase their stores with a sidewalk fashion show. Here now's Jeremy Eaton stopped by and put this piece together.
Is wearing tribal gauchos with an extended hem We decided to embrace the downtown pedestrian mall, and with Next Clothing and Island Sam Shoe Store, we decided to have a little fashion show on the street, on the sidewalk.
She's wearing a high-heel sandal by L'Artiste.
Well, now that we have the pedestrian mall, and we need people to know that we're down here, and we thought it would bring them some fashions and shoes and maybe get them excited to come down.
Molly's wearing a rubberized sole sandal.
Restaurants have embraced this. The retailers are trying to embrace it. That's why we're doing fashion shows. So far, it's early days, but it seems like from the beginning it's starting to work well.
I love it. I voted for it. I'm thrilled to death that they did it for 2 months every day, and I hope that we get to do it again.
Well, Gail has been my neighbor for many, many years, and where I have the shoes, she has the ladies' clothing. It seemed like a perfect fit.
Melanie is wearing a tribal crepe V-neck top.
We're going to see everything from jumpers to dresses, shorts, jeans, and shoes from Island Sam's, and we're actually also featuring jewelry from Elizabeth Burry in Trinity, because we carry it now.
Sleeve jumper.
We have actually, and it's actually been freezing. But people have still been coming down with their hats and mitts on the weekend and checking it out. Families are coming down with their children. We definitely have had an increase in traffic.
We were hoping to, if this worked okay, we'd do it every 2 weeks or until all the product was sold.
Welcome back to Here and Now. COVID has been cramping the style of many local performance, but one group has found a way to roll with the pandemic punches. They've taken their circus act out of the big top and into the parking lot for a drive-in showcase. Smoke Show is part carnival, part concert. Here's how they're doing it during COVID.
So I feel like I know the answer, but what are the wet towels for?
Putting out the flames, the equipment, yeah. And potentially people, but that doesn't happen.
That's never happened.
No. But just for safety.
At first, I started doing some, I was calling pandemic performances on my own. People would hire me to do a show on their, in the front of their driveway for the house, things like that, or for the neighborhood. And then I was like, we can scale this up. We can do something. So I called up my city councillor, Hope actually, and she put me in touch with public health. And then I kind of created a guideline. There was no guidelines, so I just kind of came up with it and was like, are these plans okay? And they gave me a little bit of guidance, and now we're gonna have a drive-in circus. It's really exciting to get the whole group back together and just bring that raw energy in some crazy times. People feel afraid and not very powerful right now, and how better to get inspired by go seeing a bunch of powerful people play wild music and burn things and hang from the air. It makes you feel like you can, take on things maybe you didn't think you could.
This is white gas, so it's naphtha, and then we do a mix of different things for different props, so they have different burn temperatures, things like that.
And sometimes this stuff burns longer?
Yeah, and then this burns brighter and hotter. So together you get quick light, but it lasts long enough for the toys.
It's been tough because this group has been together now for a couple of years, and we've really started picking up steam. And we got a grant. We got a grant to do some work to get us to doing some touring, to build some new props, to write some original music and stuff. And then COVID happened, and it was like boom. We were all kind of put on the timeout, right? And it's not the sort of thing that you can rehearse over Zoom. However, we've kind of figured out a way to do it, and we're really excited to kind of be the first group to do it. So we're kind of capitalizing on the fire that was lit under us, and hopefully give people kind of a new experience that they've never done, but get them out of the house and people kind of excited about kind of finding a new sense of normalcy again through something as magical as circus, right? It's just so fun.
Yeah, the hammer sort of dropped right around Paddy's Day week, which I had about maybe 7 gigs. That's a bit busy time for any hired guns. And we heard the rumor about COVID and maybe stuff shutting down. And then a few days later, it was like, no, all the gigs are gone. And a couple days later, bartenders were laid off. And it was really interesting. For the first time in years, I had no looming gigs or no. Typically, I play in a country band, I play in a trad band, so there's always some work or some list or some rehearsal.
I make my whole living through performing and teaching on pieces of equipment that people share. So none of that can happen, obviously. So for the 3 months of the quarantine, I've just been in my apartment doing a lot of handstands because that's the only thing that I could do in my tiny little place. And then chatting with the girls, we kind of had this idea of doing the drive-in showcase. And yeah, as soon as it kind of looked like it was probable, I booked a ticket and came home because yeah, this is what I wanted to be doing this summer anyways. Yeah.
Have you ever performed in front of an audience of cars?
No, I cannot say that I have done that. Yeah, so it'll be a bit weird because you won't get the same energy. Yeah, so it'll be an experience. It'll be a new experience for us. It'll feel like performing itself will feel different, as well as the audience.
Big weekend.
Big weekend.
Emerging from COVID. Right? Let's do this. Yeah. We're in the backyard.
take this on the road? Can you take this across the province?
I really see that happening, yeah. We already have toured the province a couple times, so we have communities that would probably love to have us back. We already have the contacts and that kind of thing, so we're hoping that, yeah, I mean, we're just trying to get this up off the ground, and now Tuesday it's like, okay, when's the next one? So we hope to do it again, yeah. The honking really works. We weren't sure what it was going to be like to have audiences behind glass, but the honking actually makes it more fun because sometimes if you have a quiet audience, you don't get as amped, but like, or they're loud, so it's like they're yelling for us, and everybody is just so enthusiastic. It's been a dream.
Thanks to Rodrigo Iniguez and Connor McCann for putting that together for us.
It made the heart ache to see the groups of men, women, and children with weary, bloodshot eyes and smoke-begrimed faces.
Remembering the Great Fire of 1892, it happened 128 years ago today and forever changed the capital city. More of these striking fire photos coming up. Welcome back to Here and Now. The St. John's Regional Fire Department is celebrating 125 years as a professional service.
St. John's Regional Fire Department, to your colors. Salute!
The fire department marked the anniversary this morning with a small ceremony. The paid brigade dates back to the Great Fire of 1892. Back then, St. John's only had a volunteer department. The fire raged out of control and crews couldn't stop the spread because they didn't have access to water. They hadn't refilled the nearest water tank after a practice drill, and the city's water supply had been shut off to install new pipes.
When I saw that it had burst into Water Street and was sending out great flakes of fire and tornadoes of fiery particles while a solid mass of fire steadily advanced, I knew then that the city was doomed.
All the arteries which led from the water to the higher portions of the town were crowded with the terrorized mob, and the screams and cries of the women mingled with the wailing of children, the shouts intensified by the masses of livid fire and the glare of the burning buildings.
Well, the fire caused millions of dollars in damage and left many people homeless. 3 years later, 125 years ago today, the Newfoundland and Labrador government established a professional service, opening the first fire station and hiring paid firefighters. Well, the fire no doubt left its mark on St. John's. 3 years ago, on the 125th anniversary of the fire, I spoke with folklorist Dale Jarvis about how it changed the city. Take a look.
This building, it kind of occupies an interesting spot. This is where the fire swept down Longs Hill. It got to the bottom of the hill here, it spread out in two directions and largely kind of swept towards the ocean and destroyed most of St. John's. The thing that I wanted to show you here is one of the few things that actually remains from the period before the Great Fire, and that's the medallion, the sandstone medallion that we can see here on the kirk. It's the symbol of the burning bush, a bush which was not consumed by the fire. And the medallion was actually part of the old Presbyterian church, which was down at the bottom of Cathedral Street. It was destroyed in the fire. The Presbyterians saw this as a symbol of St. John's kind of rising from the ashes, and they brought it back up here when they rebuilt their church. They incorporated it into their new building.
So remind us, just how devastating was this fire?
It was very, very devastating. And estimates vary between 10 and 12,000 people homeless, hundreds upon hundreds of homes, damages, millions of dollars in damages. It really destroyed the entire downtown core of St. John's. Almost all the churches were destroyed, merchant premises, boats in the harbor. It was unprecedented.
Why do you think it's important that we remember this 125 years later?
The reason why St. John's looks the way it does today is largely because of the Great Fire. We think of St. John's as being kind of a historic place. We think about the historic architecture. Because the town was destroyed in 1892, the town that arose like a phoenix from those ashes was a very, very modern city. At the time, there was this new architectural style that was kind of a craze, the Second Empire style. There was an architect here, the Southcott family of architects and builders. So the way that St. John's looks now is a result of the Great Fire. And the fact that we have streets that aren't narrow and close together like you would see in European cities, it's because after the fire, the city planners were able to straighten out some of the streets, widen them, and kind of make St. John's the city it is today.
So these streets are actually better than
they would have
been
yeah.
pre-1892.
And that's one of the reasons why the fire was so bad. There had been a fire in 1846, and there were recommendations that said, we need to build the houses further apart, we need fire breaks, the streets need to be a minimum width. And people said, we're never going to have a great fire, it doesn't matter. And they built the houses back close together, narrow streets. And so when the fire swept down the hill here, it just led to mass destruction. So yeah, it is that we complain about the streets in St. John's, but they're a lot better than they were in 1892.
It's time for a kitchen party. The East Coast Music Awards are back. Mary Walsh hosts a special virtual edition.
Coming to you from beautiful St. John's.
Featuring performances from Atlantic Canada's amazing talent. And celebrating this year's nominees and winners.
It's still going to be glitzy and glamorous. I mean, how could it not be? Look how high my hair is.
The East Coast Music Awards, Saturday at 9 on CBC and CBC Gem.
Welcome back to Here Now. The pandemic has become unlikely inspiration for a unique new endeavor by PEI's Poet Laureate. Since March, Julie Pelletier-Lush has shared a poem or story online every day for 100 days in a row. And as Nancy Russell finds out, it has added a new meaning to the author's role, connecting with people like never before.
Julie Pelletier-Lush started setting up her phone and recording her daily posts on March 21st, inspired by a virtual powwow across the Maritimes and the number of views it received just as the pandemic began.
And I realized at that point in time that there's such a need for people to have some entertainment, something to take their mind off of the crazy stuff that's happening in the world, in our community, in our province. Even if it was just to hear the drumming. I thought it would be a great experience for the kids also. I wanted them to have something to look forward to every day. Give my eyes the teaching of truth so that I can see what is really there in front of me every day.
The first month of posts were recorded at her home, but then as the weather improved, she headed outdoors and across the island. In May, there was a series of posts featuring 9 new street signs, each with a Mi'kmaq name.
I thought, I want to go to every one of them, learn how to pronounce them, say it, do a poetry reading at it, and show everybody where they are.
Pelletier-Lush says she has been excited to see the response to her posts.
Oh my goodness, we get about 3,000 to 7,000 views on each of the different posts, and lots of different comments that are encouraging and make you realize that maybe this was what was needed for this time.
Julie's been doing a wonderful job bringing both different places on the island, bringing islanders together, but also incorporating the Mi'kmaq culture into the poetry and bringing that love of poetry to people through a new medium.
The pandemic series is now over after post 100, but Pelletier-Lush hopes viewers will keep coming back.
If somebody's interested, it'll still be there. And it'll be sort of a legacy for what I've been trying to do as a Poet Laureate. And it is a place to tell stories.
Nancy Russell, CBC News, Skamagan.
The U.S. is marking some grim new milestones in the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, the total number of confirmed cases in that country topped 3 million. Texas alone had more than 10,000 new infections in a single day, a first for the state. And it's just one of many that's experiencing an alarming resurgence of the disease. But the U.S. Vice President says there is a reason for hope.
We're actually seeing early indications of a percent of positive testing flattening in Arizona and Florida and Texas.
But just moments later, Dr. Deborah Birx, Pence's own coronavirus task force coordinator, called on Americans in all the hot zones to wear masks and stop gatherings in bars, indoor restaurants, even in homes. Some hospitals in the worst-hit areas are now reaching capacity, and Americans across the country are facing huge lines for testing. Back here at home, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says his financial support for Canadians has allowed this country to restart the economy in a stronger position than some of our allies. And he seemed to be singling out the U.S. in particular when he said Canada has controlled the spread of the disease better than our neighbors. But this afternoon, one of his senior public health officials said there's still a very real potential for a spike in new cases here.
The epidemiology indicates that the transmission is largely under control in Canada, while also showing us that cases can reemerge at any time or place.
Canada's Deputy Chief Public Health Officer says he expects a resurgence of COVID-19 infections through the summer and into the fall. Places that currently have few or no cases could be hit if people let their guard down and as businesses continue to reopen. As everyone starts rethinking how to spend their summer holiday during the pandemic, some Belgians are taking things to another level. Well, that is a tent hanging from a tree. These tents also double as art installations. They were originally designed for the 90s for environmental activists who are camping near trees in an effort to stop deforestation. Now, it's become a local, popular tourist attraction. Yeah, everyone can still look in, though, while you're camping. I'm not sure about that. The next story might sound a little like the tale of Moby Dick, but this one is most definitely true. Take a look.
That is an albino orca.
A group of boaters in British Columbia got to glimpse a rare white killer whale. The white orca swam up next to their boat along with 5 other whales. The close encounter happened off the east coast of Vancouver Island near Campbell River. White orcas are incredibly rare. Only a handful have ever been documented worldwide. Look at that. And we're going to leave you tonight with another whale encounter, this one a little closer to home. Take a look. Well, we saw some humpbacks in St. Vincent's earlier this week, but these killer whales were spotted just outside Makkovik. Fisherman Joey Angatok from Nain took the pictures. Hard to tell exactly how many orcas are in the pod, but it looks like there's about 8 there. You definitely don't want to fall in, but a beautiful shot, especially on a beautiful day like that with such calm waters. It's amazing, the marine wildlife that just comes up right to your boat. And that's it for Here and Now for this Wednesday evening. I'm Peter Cowan. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow night with all the latest news and, of course, the weather details, especially as we start heading towards the weekend. Ashley will be here with a look at just what the weather will be like. Have a great night, everyone.